Hey everybody, MichaelBtheGameGenie here, and on today's video we're going to be talking about New Year's gaming resolutions. That means changes in the way I'm going to be gaming in the upcoming year, maybe even changes for the better. Find out if I'm going to keep buying Arcade1Up cabinets, find out if I'm going to be playing new games, and find out if I'm going to make a very, very large purchase and get a pinball machine right after this. So that's right, guys. Today we're going to be talking about New Year's gaming resolutions. I've done this before as kind of a big group challenge, and we've looked at it on what games we're going to go back and play in the new year. Now, I meant to do this video pretty much right away, but seems to be this event called CES that kind of got in the way of that, and we had so much new stuff to talk about. That's actually going to play into what we're talking about here today. So you guys have known for the last 2 years, I have been on a non-stop buying binge of Arcade1Up cabinets, and I filled up a room 2 times now with the cabinets that I've bought, and then turfed some out and brought some new ones in. Will that remain the same in the new year? I'm not going to say no, because I've already got caught saying I wasn't going to buy something and then ended up letting FOMO get the best of me, but I don't know where I'm going with my Arcade1Up collecting, to be honest. So guys, as you see in front of me here, the CES announcements for 2022. Now, I'm a big fan of what they put out, but the reality is there's nothing really new announced game-wise here. So if I was going purely on the games, there's nothing here that I didn't already know. But what is here is recreations of stuff that I already have with new online features and upgraded cabinets. I'm going to be honest with you. The ones that I am interested in, I know people like the Pac-Mania art, but I don't like that one. I am super interested in the Mortal Kombat, the updated cabinet, even though it doesn't have Johnny Cage, new control panel, and the online features make that a must. So I'm probably stupidly going to replace my Legacy cabinet that I already have with most of these games on it for this updated feature for more comfortable play with an actual tilted screen, slanted screen, better control panel, and the online fighting community for Mortal Kombat. So I'm probably going to get rid of one to get this. Now with my Tempest Atari Legacy, I don't know what I'm going to do, because there's no real change to this other than this has the beautiful Centipede art and then also has the online features, but it's still Centipede on a horizontal screen, so I'm on the fence about that. The big one we need to talk about is the announcement of the Pro Series, and this is the one that's going to be kind of devastating for Arcade1Up and kind of gives me some pause, because the Pro Series makes me kind of want to hold off from buying any Arcade1Up cabinets right now. So I think my Arcade1Up collecting may change in the next year, that instead of me just going out and buying the 3/4 scale cabinets, I'll no longer be known as the 3/4 scale diva. I may hold off and slowly but surely replace my current 3/4 scale arcade cabinets with Pro Line cabinets when they come out that matches what I'm looking for. Now, I'm safe this year. I don't think I'm going to be getting anything because I'm not interested in Golden Tee. I'm not interested in Killer Instinct. I don't know what else is going to be coming out. From what we understand, there's going to be one Pro Line series cabinet per quarter. So I think this comes out in spring, and then summer, fall. We've got 3 next year. I assume that Golden Tee is next year, and I don't know what else it is, but I don't think I'll be getting a Pro Line this year. So I think I might be remaining pretty stable with the cabinets I have. That is until I see what else is coming out this year. And guys, that's the other big thing. What else is coming out this year? Like, I know every single Arcade1Up that's come out yet. I've bought almost every single one of them. I think, I only haven't bought the re-released Turtles, Buck Hunter, Class of 81, and then there's a couple more Asteroids and the original Pac-Man. There's some I haven't bought, but, I don't plan on getting Ridge Racer. Don't hold me to it, because anything could change, but I don't plan on getting Ridge Racer. I don't plan on getting Killer Instinct. And right now I'm leaning towards not getting Terminator 2. So, It might be a pretty quiet early year for Arcade1Up cabinets. Let's be honest, where am I with my Arcade1Up collection in the first place? I mean, if you take a look at my current arcade, most people would have watched my arcade room tour 2021 at the end of last year. I'm pretty much full in my arcade. So in order for me to add anything else Arcade1Up wise, I would realistically have to get rid of something. And this is the point where I'm a little in the middle because I don't know which direction I want to go. Now, I've been kind of all over the place. I bought everything Arcade1Up has put out, and that's been a mix of the classic arcade games as well as the more modern stuff. And modern stuff, I mean 90s. And you really got to ask yourself a question at one point: what do you want to be? Do you want to be a 80s arcade? Do you want to be a 90s arcade? I'm somewhere in the middle. But the truth of the matter is, realistically, I have pretty much everything I want from a nostalgia standpoint, outside of a G.I. Joe 4-player cabinet or WWF WrestleFest, which I don't think Arcade1Up is ever going to make. I have every nostalgic cabinet I've probably ever wanted. Probably. Except for Donkey Kong, of course. But now I'm not pulled by nostalgia anymore. When these cabinet comes out, I don't have that nostalgia pull because I have everything. I have Simpsons, I have X-Men, I have Turtles, I have all those classic beat-em-ups from when I was a kid. And what I noticed myself being drawn to is more of the 80s score chaser type games, and that's the stuff, because of arcade history, I'm really more interested in. I want to see Robotron 2084. I want to see a dedicated tapper. I know that's probably not on everybody's list, but that's what I want to see. I want to see more stuff like that. So in order for me to buy more 3/4 scale cabinets, I'm going to probably part with some of the more 90s games that I have that I bought that was on impulse to see if I would be more interested in them, and move more to picking up score chasers if more are announced. Like track and field is one of the big rumor ones that was on Randy's Records last year. I don't think I'm a big track and field guy, but definitely if there's a Robotron twin stick shooter that comes out, I'm going to be all over that. I'm interested in Dragon's Lair. That's one that is just a work of art, and if Arcade1Up does it right, I want that in my arcade. So that's more the direction I'll be going with the 3/4 scale cabinets. I obviously, I can't buy as much. I mean, you take a look there in my arcade, everything is packed to the gills. Like, I've got everything I could ever want. So, I mean, there's no room for anything else to come in. I've got to move stuff out, so I've got to be very selective on what I put in. And like I said, I'm interested in bringing in the Pro Series to replace some of the cabinets I have, but otherwise, I can't see much coming out other than, I mentioned it, Marvel vs. Capcom, Street Fighter, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, which is a surprise probably, but that's the kind of stuff that'll be moving out for games like Dragon's Lair and like Robotron 2084 if they ever release it. That's the direction I'm going if I go 3/4 scale, and everything else is popping out to Pro line. And I mean, the other thing, guys, which I'm sure you all know, I'm probably not going to be buying as much this upcoming year because I'm having a kid. You can see here the spot me and my wife and my kid did to introduce a little baby coming. So in April, we're going to be having a new kid, so I'm not going to be buying as much. And let's be honest, I mean, I bought, almost $20,000 worth of Arcade1Ups probably in the last 3 years. So I got to take a break, build up my, savings again, and put some money away for the kids. So I can't buy as much. It's a good thing I already got a full arcade, right? Then we move on over to pinball, and I've really enjoyed my Arcade1Up pinballs, and I don't have any intention to really turf these out, but we know version 2 pinballs are coming. I think Unqualified Critics made a video about it yesterday. They're going to be pretty good. I'm sure that Arcade1Up are going to, add in Wi-Fi on the features this time. Hopefully, they make the screen resolution a lot better and fix a lot of the issues that were with the Wave 1 cabinets. But where I am on this is I may keep these cabinets, I think. I'm not 100% sure. But also, I love Marvel and Star Wars, but they're not based on real cabinets, so I don't know if they're going to stay long term. It depends what happens with the really big thing I want to do, which I'm going to talk about later. But that may change this room from an Arcade1Up only room to something else. We'll come back to that. The other thing, as you guys all know, I mean, I built the majority of my subscribers and my following here on YouTube by playing retro games. So I have been kind of a delinquent from it the last couple of years. I mean, I always play it, but I don't talk about it very much. But I want to go back to playing more retro games in the upcoming year, mainly because I just have a ton that I still want to go back and experience, like a backlog. Now, this doesn't mean I'm going to start retro collecting again. Dear God, no. So you guys may remember a couple of years ago, I used to have a massive NES collection. In fact, I almost had every single game, and that was just my NES. I had every console you can imagine. All told, I had close to 10,000 games. But the thing is, games are very valuable, and they're gone up even more in price. And also, they're almost impossible to insure here in Canada. You can't get them covered under your normal insurance, and you have to have a special rider from Lloyd's of London. And anyways, I gave up collecting retro games a couple of years ago. I don't do this anymore. And I can't see myself going back to trying to add to my physical collection in any capacity. But what I do plan on doing is just playing a lot more. I mean, there's 100 different ways to play. I mean, one of my new fixations now is playing games through the Nintendo Switch, the Switch Online service. So I'm looking for them to keep expanding that library, hopefully. Not just the expansion pack for Genesis and N64, but hopefully they bring out more NES games. Hopefully they bring out more Super Nintendo games. Speaking of super expensive, I'm holding Little Samson in my hands there. Oh, I miss my TurboGrafx 16 collection too. Look at all those Genesis games, 32X I had, Super Nintendo. I miss all this stuff, but it just wasn't being used and it couldn't be insured. So I don't think I'll ever go back to having a collection like this again, like a physical collection, but I intend to definitely play a lot more retro games in the upcoming year and cover this stuff. Talk about games that you guys should check out and just have fun playing these games. The other reason why is I'm probably not going to have as much time down in my arcade due to the fact that the new baby's coming. I'm probably going to have to be upstairs. So I'm going to be with my wife, and if I do have a minute, I'll be looking after Scarlett, and we're probably going to be in one of the, family room, or I'll be upstairs here in my office. So I won't get a chance to play arcade stuff mostly. I'll probably be playing retro games or more modern games. Yeah, and my modern game backlog is ridiculous, because if any game ever comes out that I think is a must-have game, I buy it. And then I don't play it. I have so many games I need to go back and finish. Like, even going back to last Christmas, I got Fire Emblem 3 Houses, Last of Us Part 2, a bunch of other games last Christmas that I have not played yet. That doesn't even take into account, if you go to my Instagram, you can take a look at some of the games I got this year. Check this out. So guys, you can go to my Instagram. It's not all burger pics, despite what you may have been told. Oh, there's one. I miss that food truck. I hope it comes back soon. But yeah, right before Christmas, I picked up Bravely Default 2 on the Switch. That's not a short game. I'm hoping to get to that. I still haven't finished all the games on my Game & Watch. I still haven't opened up my other Game & Watch that I got for Christmas last year. I just picked up Paper Mario Origami King that I want to go and spend some time on. Like I mentioned, I got my N64 and Genesis controllers, more burgers, Switch OLED, which I got to play, and then thanks to Garage Gamer, I picked up the Nintendo Online NES and Super Nintendo controllers, so that's a lot of where my retro gaming's probably going to be, is on the Switch. And then, I'm really hoping to get back into playing my more modern games. And digital. Oh my god, digital that I gotta get to. So I picked up the Castlevania Advanced Game Boy Collection. I've managed to beat all of them through in the last little while. There's Area of Sorrow. So I need to get back into playing my more modern games. Cruise and Blast. Oh my god, I wish I didn't wait. I'm glad I waited because I got the sale, but I wish I didn't wait to pick that up. That is such a good game. So that's the focus too. This is not rocket science. I need to save money with the kid coming up. I've got to spend less money on new games and save money while focusing my time on playing some of the older stuff. That's my resolution this year. But there is one area, well, two areas where I am looking to spend a little bit of money. Behind me, you can see the AtGames Legends Ultimate Pinball. Now, I've got this, and when I bought it, I also bought a new PC that the focus was on. I was going to dual use it for YouTube and playing computer games, which is another area where I've got a massive backlog because I started playing games on the PC, and I've got Xbox Game Pass, and I've got Steam, and I spent a bunch of money on Steam games that I've never played. So I got a massive backlog there I'm going to play as well. But the idea was I was going to use this computer with giant HDMI cables and USB cables and set it up that this would also, I would be able to run Pinball FX and visual pinball, some kind of visual pinball through here, through the Legends Pinball. But it doesn't really work that way because this computer is so integral for live streaming, so integral for editing my YouTube videos, and that I can't leave it hooked up to that. And so what I'm probably going to do is at some point, I'm going to invest some money into getting a decent gaming PC to hook up to my Legends Pinball so I can continue to play the Pinball FX3 games, the whole library, which I legally bought through Steam, on that machine, and also some stuff from Visual Pinball. And the Visual Pinball is going to be my guide in helping me decide which physical pinball tables I may want. It's going to be like my tryout. I always said that I even when I was a physical retro game collector, I still believed in emulation, because if there was a super pricey game for a system that I wasn't going for a complete collection for, I might want to try it out before I'm going to invest a lot of money in an old copy. So what I'd used to do is I'd play through emulation first and say, this game's fantastic, and then I'd go find a physical copy. So the concept is maybe I can do some visual pinball on this bad boy back here and decide if there's tables I want to play. Now, they're mainly older tables, and the problem is there's just nowhere really to play pinball here. We got a very limited pinball window. One of my good friends, Chris Kelly, I mean, he's an operator, and he's got a couple pinball tables out there, but they're in very few locations, so there's not much of a selection here. So visual pinball is really my only way to decide if I want something, if something comes up. So let's talk real pinball, because that's the bulk of what I want to talk about here. I want to get a real pinball machine, and I will unashamedly admit it. I was excited all in last year when pinball was coming out in the virtual form. I was going to get my Legends Pinball. I was hoping to get a Toy Shock Pinball. I was going to get all the Arcade1Up pinballs. I intended to only get one. Got so excited I bought all of them, and I fell in love with virtual pinball. And I thought that would be the end of it, but realistically, I thought that would be enough for me. But what happened was, all it did was make me thirstier for real pinball. And then I saw Cool Toy get that Stranger Things pinball, and I idolized Cool Toy, obviously. So it gave me wicked FOMO, and I wanted a real pinball then. And then Retro Ralph got one too. He got the Jurassic Park pinball, and it looks so good. Both of them look so good, and it looks like so much fun. And it started pulling on me, and I was like, yeah, I want a real pinball. Of course, staying with me, I wanted to get an older pinball, something to really ease my way in. But the problem with that is, and they'll tell you about this, pinball maintains its value. So I started looking at pinball, and there's none on the island where I'm to. Barely anything. The people that have pinball machines got them under lock and key. They're never going to give them up. So I would obviously have to get them from somewhere else. So I'm looking at paying whatever the pinball tables are worth, and anybody who's looked at the real pinball knows it's super expensive. Like, we're talking tables usually around, starter table could be anywhere from $3,000 to $6,000. And then I'm looking at really expensive shipping. Like, getting it from the States is going to cost me a couple grand. Here in Canada, if I use Day&M Ross, I found out it's about $300 from depot to depot. So I'd have to figure out how much it is to get it to Newfoundland, which is an island off the coast of Canada. So I'm looking at options. And one of the things, there's a couple tables I'm really interested in. Let me show you those. So I've been watching a lot of TNT Amusements lately, Todd Tuckey, and he seems to have pretty much everything at his disposal. So he's here looking at a Nightmare on Elm Street pinball machine. This is the biggest one for me. This is the one I'm all in on. This would be my number one. I've never played it a day in my life. That's why I want Visual Pinball to double check to make sure this is something I'd really enjoy. So this is one I've only seen in advertisements. Apparently there is one here in the province that my friend Chris Kelly has actually fixed for somebody. This is a dream for me. I'm a huge horror movie fan. I have no idea if I'll even like the table, find it entertaining, find it good to play, but, just love Nightmare on Elm Street, and I think this would be just a very good collection piece, especially with my love of horror movies. It looks good. I'm looking forward to playing it for the first time in Visual Pinball to see if this is something I'm super interested in. I think this one goes for around $5,000-$6,000 if I was able to find one. That's US. And then I would have to get it here and then maybe have to get some help from Chris to do some of the upgrades, change it out for LEDs, make sure everything's working. So, yeah, this is the number one pinball I'm super interested in. Nightmare on Elm Street right now, sight unseen without playing it. Then, of course, this is also the one that I've spent the majority of my time in the virtual landscape playing, Attack from Mars. So far, of everything I've played, this is my favorite pinball table. I've played virtually, and I would love to have a physical version. The only unfortunate thing is they are super crazy expensive. Like, we're talking well over $10,000 for one in working condition, but this would be the dream. If I could find this at a reasonable price, like just fluke into one here in Canada for a reasonable price, I'd be all in on this. I'm going to talk about this again later, but I got really excited last night because I went in on a local distributor page and they had some kind of special edition listed under the pinballs that you can buy from them. And of course, one of the ones they had there was Attack from Mars, and I was like, oh my god. I thought I could buy a brand new Attack from Mars, and it wasn't available, so it was a bit of a letdown. Attack from Mars is probably my number one. The retro tables of this era, also, Medieval Madness, Tales of Arabian Nights, I would be interested in both those, because I played a ton of them through Williams, Pinball FX, and I'm very into them as well. And on the offside, I know my friend Chris has both a haunted house and a black hole, and I would be interested in them as well, but I really want to play them physically first to see if that's something I'm all in on. I love the virtual versions. Another one I'm really super excited for, sight unseen, never played it, but I want to get it because I'm a huge fan of the series, is Data East Back to the Future. I've never played it before. This is something I'd like to play in Visual Pinball to see if I was interested. When I was unaware of what Zen Pinball was, I thought originally Back to the Future was based on this real table, the Zen one, but no, that's an original, and still I've never played the Data East one, but if I was going to go somewhere, this is what I'd like to get. I put it up on Twitter yesterday that I was really interested in this table, and Medic for You kept throwing it out there that there was one available on Pinside in New Mexico, and I should just go all in because this table was going to go up in value. But then Retro Ralph kind of clapped back and said that, no, wait it out, because Stern may eventually do a remake of this table down the line. So I don't know where I am on it, but I'm definitely going to try to play it. It sells for around $4,000 to $5,000 US right now, so it's something I got to think about before I dive in and pick it up. But I love Back to the Future. It's my favorite movie of all time. It's my entire childhood encapsulated in one motion picture. So, yeah, hopefully this is something I can find and find in good working order. I'm also nervous as hell about getting into pinball because I'm really afraid it's going to be a money pit and it's going to be constant work. But, I mean, playing real pinball is just too good to pass up. But the funny thing is, I keep looking at older tables and all these classic tables that I would just love to get into, and the price is just so high. Retro Ralph has said it, other people have said it as well. Pinball maintains its value. So I keep looking at this and looking at even getting an older table like Back to the Future and having to do all this work to do LED mods, maybe put in a new DMD. And I'm thinking to myself, you know what? If I'm going to be spending this much money anyways, Screw it. Why not just get a brand new table that has all this stuff in the first place and still plays fantastically? So that's kind of where I'm leaning right now when it comes to pinball. So last night I went to the Stern page, start looking around to see how I would do this and what shipping would look like. So I went to the Stern page, checked out the games. Godzilla, I know Doug Cooltoy just covered that, and I love Godzilla. The Mandalorian is one I'm highly interested in because, I love Star Wars. Our family's big on The Mandalorian. My daughter loves Grogu, Baby Yoda, and just everything about that is so good. And from everything I've seen, the rule set and the way the table works is similar to Attack from Mars, so that excites me as well. Where are the other games? I want the games. Why is this coming up? There we go, games. So we've got Rush, Godzilla, and Mandalorian. But then again, I'm also a huge Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fan. Also, Elvira's House of Horrors is exciting as well. So is Jurassic Park. I mean, there's just so much good stuff here. So I took a hard look at two tables specifically, Mandalorian and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. But it turns out that if you're going to get anything, and I was looking at the premium edition of both, I want to go to that trim level to make sure I get the best bang for my dollar. Oh, look at that table. It's so nice. I remember when this originally came out, Doug Cooltoy put a post up on Twitter saying, oh, man, what I would give to have this. And I sent him back a thing about 3 Men and a Baby, and I'm like, do you want to go halves on it with shared custody? Anyways, if you go buy game, it comes up that find U.S. dealer, U.S. distributor, international distributor. So that's what I did. And I found that there's a place in Canada called Player One Amusement Group. And most of their offices are in either Ontario or BC. But they have a Quebec office, which is the closest to me, which would help with shipping, especially if they knew Day & Ross. I might be able to get it for shipping for like $300. So I went to Player One, and I've been looking at a couple, if you go back, pinball machines, you can see here, they show a couple here. They also carry Jersey Jack as well. So there's the Guns N' Roses Jersey Jack machine. But you can see Special Edition. That's where I got excited, because you go down to Special Edition, there's an Attack from Mars. And I started freaking out. I was like, oh my God, I'm going to get it. But unfortunately, Special Edition, they have none in stock. Now, Premium is around the trim level where I think I want to be. So I started looking at Avengers, Beatles, Deadpool. There's Godzilla, Houdini, which I'm not familiar with. I don't know who makes that. I was kind of hoping to see Halloween Spooky Pinball, because that would have took the lead. But you come down here, Jurassic Park, Led Zeppelin, Star Wars, and there it is, Turtles and Mandalorian. So these are the two I'm looking at right now in the premium edition trim, and that's where my choice is down between. I'm going to contact them tomorrow and see where we are. Now I know the trim level for, if you go to Stern right here, is, let's go back, for Turtles is that the Pro? That's the Pro line. So I want to make sure I'm at Premium. Premium price point is $8,999, so $9,000 US. Holy shit. I can buy my wife a car roughly. Well, not exactly, but we're not far off. So I've got to figure out how it works. And this is what I'm talking about. I got to save up money. And I'm talking about saving money and then dropping over 10K on a pinball table. Anyways, that's my big resolution for this year. I want to buy less. I want to focus less on picking up just everything I'm interested in, play the stuff I have, enjoy my Arcade1Up stuff downstairs, and make sure I'm only buying the stuff I'm the most interested in and keeping the stuff that gives me the most enjoyment, the stuff I had the most nostalgia for. So I probably am not going to be buying a lot of Arcade1Up cabinets this year. Very special cherry picking of cabinets that I probably will get, and turf out what I'm not as interested in, what I find I'm not playing, while slowly changing out my cabinets for pro lines when ones become available that I'm super interested in. I just got to say no to FOMO, which has always been a problem in the past. I've got a bit of a buying compulsion. So that's my main goal, saving some money, especially with my new family coming, and then getting more involved with pinball, definitely getting a new PC to go with my Legends pinball, and hopefully eventually lucking into finding either a really good older pinball machine at a reasonable price that I'm super interested in, or biting the bullet and going with this Player One Amusements out of Montreal and getting a real pinball machine. I'm just enamored with pinball. It's become such a big, fun part of my life. I really think that I could do without a lot of things gaming-wise and just have one physical pinball machine. We'll see. Pinball machine's the big one for me this year. That's what I want to get. I think that's also the most unrealistic because of its price. I mean, it's the price that keeps me out of it. We'll see what happens, but that's what I'm most interested in, but probably won't happen. And this stuff could be thrown out the window 2 months in. I might be right back here doing a Killer Instinct review. Who knows? I'm not very good at this stuff. FOMO is a hell of a drug. Anyways, guys, what I want to do now is let me know in the comments, what are your New Year's gaming resolutions for yourself? What do you plan on doing this year? Are you going to buy more Arcade1Up cabinets, keep the ball rolling? Are you going to buy less Arcade1Up cabinets? Are you going to focus more on retro gaming, more on modern gaming? What kind of New Year's gaming resolutions are you going to get to? Are you just going to clear out your backlog? That could be one too. Let me know in the comments, guys. Anyways, thank you so very much for watching. This is Michael B. the Game Genie, and I'll talk to you next time.